Hi everyone, I'm Łukasz, and today I'm going to tell you a story about my teams that I support as a Scrum Master. So I'm going to tell you something about the problems we faced in our daily work and some experiments we took to try to overcome them. Okay, so who we are? We are three teams of cloud and DevOps engineers and architects who are focused mainly, but not only, on Azure Cloud. One team is dealing with stuff like cloud security and compliance toward industry standards, and two other teams are focused more on more specific customer needs related to cloud infrastructure and everything what is needed to run robust cloud application. In secure environment. Okay, so what is specific to our teams? So it's specific that we do not support a single product. We rather act as shared services for multiple products in KMD. So we are trying to deliver value, let's say, for the entire company. And someone may ask, does this setup fit to Scrum framework? I had the same questions when I joined KMD 1 year ago and realized that this stuff is completely different than what I dealt with software development teams. So there was no single application, no single group of stakeholders, many operational tasks around every day. And is it really Scrum environment? So my first impression was that not at all. Maybe they hired a wrong person. Maybe I do not fit to this environment. But then I rethink it and decided to give it a try and check how Scrum practices can work in the world of cloud infrastructure. Okay, so one of the first things we did is to realize that behind all this everyday work, there is still a product. Actually, you can find more than one product in your team, like we did. For example, we found infrastructure as code templates, the product that helps to build a production-grade environment in an automated way. We found a set of compliance as code policies, the product that help KMD to reach industry standards like ISO 27001 and be able to prove it in front of auditors. We found cloud financial management toolset, set of scripts and tools which allows us to manage cloud resources more efficiently and save some money. We are also thinking about creating a new product, self-service platform, that will help with common user needs and improve time to market of these products. So, as you can see, we identified many products, but does it mean that we should focus on all of them at once? In my opinion, it's much better to select just one product that you can focus on in terms of developing of new features. Of course, you still can provide some ongoing support to other products, but as far as new features are concerned, I think it's much better to have just a single focus. But which products should be selected for developing of new features? So, which product is the most valuable in promising for our stakeholders? In order to select the most promising product, you should describe your product with answering of set of questions. Which questions? For example, what product it is, who are our consumers, target users of our product, what problems do we try to solve, what are positive changes about this product, what is the unrealized value behind it, do we have any business goals, and if so, how do we know that they are met? So, what are the current risks and trends? Is it something that are currently influencing our product? And is it possible to create such a product at all? So by answering these questions, you will have much better overview about the potential behind your product, what is really important and valuable for your stakeholders and organization. In order to improve, let's say, this description, I recommend to use product vision templates created by Roman Pichler. You can find them completely for free on romanpichler.com. Such templates can be used to kickstart a new product or even align where you currently are in development of your current product and when do you want to be. So you can use them as inspiration to create also something new, some new template that is better tailored to your needs, or you can use them as they are. Okay, so let's assume that we have selected the most valuable product. We have a product owner in our team who is willing to drive the vision of this product to make it the best on the market. But how this development really looks like of a cloud features? So here I would like to present you how Microsoft is creating and releasing new Azure features, because I think this is really agile how they are doing that. So when Microsoft launched a new feature in Azure, first it is released as so-called private preview. In order to use private preview feature, you should be invited by Microsoft by some email like, hey, we created something cool, maybe you want to try it out. Such feature is limited to just invited audience, and there is no SLA and no support from Microsoft. But you can still play around with that and see is it anyhow beneficial. Provide some feedback to Microsoft, and based on this feedback, they can improve the product. After the private preview stage, Microsoft is releasing public preview. Public preview is available for every Azure customer, so everyone can use it. There is still no SLA, but there is limited support from Microsoft. This audience, receivers of these features, can evaluate it, provide some feedback to Microsoft, and based on that, Microsoft is releasing final version, which is called General Available Version, in short GA, which is just a regular Azure feature with SLA and full support included. So you can safely use it for your production application. What's important for us as cloud DevOps engineers teams, that we should sometimes check some feature as early as possible, like in public preview stage, so we can take evaluation of such feature to the sprint with a goal to validate them against our needs. And then when it's GA, when it's production ready, we are ready right away to support other solutions with this feature, so we can react faster on changing market needs. Okay, so this is how Microsoft is developing cloud features, but how we as KMD DevOps team are doing that. So this is an example of how we can approach to some new Azure GA feature, for example, new type of database, which seems to be more cost efficient or better, have better performance. So when we have such a feature and want to try it out, first we are selecting some example customer who is interested in trying it. It can be, for example, from some Danish commune, who is interested in changing this database to the new version. And we are taking to the sprint POC with a sprint goal to evaluate this POC against cost, easy of use, usefulness for our solution. We are also consulting customer for the feedback about the POC, and based on that, if the POC is successful, we are planning the next sprint with the goal to implement this feature on all customer environments. We are starting from pre-production, test environments, check how it works, is it stable, and after that, we are deploying this feature on production. So when we have it ready for one selected customer, then we can try to roll it out on all customers, like 50 Danish communes. And in order to do that, we are trying to bundle customers. Like, let's make it for 5 customers every sprint. Yeah? Such bundle needs some coordination with customers, some service window, and so on. And such bundles allows us to roll out this feature more smoothly and incrementally across all customers who benefits from it. All right, so let's assume that we have some feature which is deployed in production, but how we are measuring this feature in terms of how many users it have, adoption rate, and so on. For this purpose, we are using some metrics. Metrics are used to increase transparency about our products. But what metrics we are using? Of course, we are using velocity, a basic Scrum metric, but it just helps us to be a bit more predictable. Yeah? So we are checking how much we delivered recently, and we are trying to plan similar amount of work. But does it really say something about a value we are delivering? Not really. In order to check the value behind the features we are creating, we are using more product-related metrics. For example, how did a new feature influence all solutions in KMD? How secure these solutions are? Are they more secure? If so, how to prove it? Yeah? What is the adoption rate of a new features in KMD? Are these solution owners, developers really aware that we delivered something new? And if so, where we spend the most effort? Which product was the most expensive? So as you can see, instead of some general process-related metrics that can be helpful, we are much more focused on product-related metrics and checking how what we are doing influence other solutions in the company. All right, but how to create these metrics if they are sometimes very custom and specific to particular product? For this purpose, we are using Power BI. Power BI is a tool from Microsoft for data visualization with strong focus on business intelligence. Why I like this tool and why I do recommend this tool for other Scrum Masters and DevOps engineers? Because you can create by it one-page dashboards that contains the most valuable information for your audience. So you can create a dashboard which is adjusted to your audience needs. So for example, if your audience is more business-oriented, you can expose more business information in this dashboard. If you have the audience which is more technical, you can focus on technical things on this dashboard. So having such dashboard allows you to track many things which are refreshed automatically, like adoption rate of new features, your impact you are making on the other solutions, and increase transparency and awareness in the organization about what you are doing. Of course, in many cases, you can use some out-of-the-box widgets to calculate metrics, like some widgets from Jira, Azure DevOps, and so on. But you are usually constrained with these widgets to how they are designed. And if you want to show something different, sometimes it's hard. What's more, if you want to use some out-of-the-box features, sometimes they are, let's say, more expensive than Power BI because they are involving transferring some data within Azure when you are changed for every gigabyte. And by Power BI, you can connect directly to the source and take just enough amount of data to present your dashboard. Why Power BI? I think that's a great tool also because you are presenting data which is always up to date and refreshed automatically. So if you are showing some information, they are data-driven. So it's hard to undermine such arguments that are data-driven. So you can be also more efficient in discussions with management because you are showing data which is taken from the source. You can also save a lot of time for reporting and like preparing some reports for management. Once you create such a dashboard, it's available always, and it's always up to date. You can also use some built-in connectors to fetch data from many sources. So, for example, one of my team is using Jira, and the second one is using Azure DevOps. And if you want to have a coherent overview what your teams are doing, you can aggregate it in Power BI on the single dashboard. What's more, last week I learned about one new fantastic feature of Power BI, which is web scraping. So, for example, if you want to extend your dashboard with a data which is not included in your data source, but it's publicly available on internet, then you can just copy-paste a link to this page, and Power BI automatically web scrap all tables that can be used on your data model. All right, so we have all these metrics, tools to track them, but how to start with Power BI? If you are new to Power BI and you want to play around with that and gain some skills, I can recommend you two great sources of knowledge. The first one is the official course from Microsoft. You can just type in Google Power BI learning path and take the first results. These lessons are free and are really, let's say, well prepared. And if you want to make your Power BI reports a bit more sexy, I recommend to visit a YouTube channel, How to Power BI, and you can find many great lessons which helps you to improve your reports on another level. All right, but when we know that something is done, so for this purpose, we are using definition of done. The first time we discussing a definition of done with my teams was something like, do we really need it? We are doing some different type of work, yeah, that it's hard to find some coherent set of rules that can be useful. But when we take the perspective of products which we are working on, we found some common rules that can be used as DoD. For example, for cloud engineers teams, we can have DoD like, if possible, apply every change by a code. If you have some new feature, add Grafana monitoring to it. When we deploy some new functionality, please update Power BI reports to track adoption rate. And when you finish development, please clean up all cloud resources to do not generate unnecessary costs. So this set of definition of done helps us sometime to determine whether we are done with our work or not. Sometimes we can argue on things like, should we do everything by code when it takes one day and we can do that by hand in 5 minutes? But even if you make another decision, this should be discussed with the team on some daily or other meeting, and we should reach some consensus that this is something that we should do in this and that way, and definition of done are, let's say, some starting point of this discussion. All right, and what other tools and practices from the Agile world I recommend to use for DevOps and cloud engineering teams? So the first thing I recommend is using liberating structures. These are a set of 33 scripts for conducting meetings and conversation. The idea behind liberating structures are to, let's say, decentralize control over meeting to other people and engage them more in creating the next steps. The other tool is Miro or Mural, inclusive collaborating whiteboards. So these tools became more and more popular during pandemic, due to nature of remote work. But I still see that they are not so popular for more technical teams, like DevOps engineer teams. They are more focused on drawing some diagrams in Visio and so on, but these tools are not very well known to them. But I think that's it's a really good way to improve your workshop. Like you can prepare something in advance, send it out to your participants, ask for preparing some initial input. So when you start your workshop, you will start with something. The last tool I recommend is Mentimeter. It's a tool for preparing and conducting interactive presentations. So when you present some data or some information, you can ask your audience for feedback, for answering questions. So you can even adjust agenda of your presentation on the fly, depending on your audience feedback. Apart from all these tools, I think what's the most important in the Agile work is to be open to conduct experiments. Yeah, if you are looking for some big framework which will solve all your problems, you probably do not find any. Yeah, you can find something which can be helpful, but on the other hand can be very complex and time-consuming to adapt. So best you can do is to take 1 or 2 experiments every sprint, validate it every 2 weeks, discuss on the review with your team, was it good or not, yeah, and improve it or abandon it if it's not useful. Only by making such experiments, you can find your perfect ways of working. Okay, I think this is from me. I hope you enjoyed this presentation and find something useful for you. If you have any questions, I would love to answer them.
Okay, thank you, Łukasz. If there are no questions right now, I'm looking for raised hands. Oh, okay, I can see one. Yeah, please.
You mentioned that you identified a couple of products when you started that product existence at the beginning, and then you show a couple of templates that help to do this kind of discovery. And you also mentioned that you wanted to end up with a single product. What is that single product?
So in one team, right now this product is this compliance as code policies. We call this product landing zones. We see the biggest potential on this product due to be more secure and compliant with variety of standards. But it doesn't mean that we completely abandoned other products. Yeah, this is our main focus for now. But I believe that once some business goals are met or some milestones are achieved, we can switch to other product which will be beneficial. Yeah, but for now, the main focus are landing zones because we really believe, and this was proved by our evaluation to the tools I showed, that this will bring the biggest value for the KMD.